Well, welcome to Marking the End Times. I'm Mark Hitchcock. I want to thank all of you who came to the Prophecy Conference last weekend. It was a great time. I loved seeing many of you there. I loved interacting with the other speakers. It was just a fantastic time. I want to thank all of you who were there in person, and also for those of you who participated online. We appreciate so much your interest and participation. It's just an ongoing encouragement to us. You can still purchase the content of the conference. You can go to conference.endtimes.com. So if you're interested in that, go there and you can find the information there. And I'll just go ahead and give a plug for next year. We're already looking forward to seeing everybody next year, next September, again, back down in the Dallas area. Well, today's program, I want to talk about something that I know is on your mind. It's on the minds of everyone around the world, and that is Israel's war against Hezbollah. But I also want to talk just briefly at the end of today's program about a story in China that is just breaking as I'm making this video. So I want to talk about that as well. Now, many officials, many people in the world today are saying that Israel and Hezbollah are on the cusp of an all-out war. Keep hearing people say that, well, they're right on the cusp of an all-out war. Well, I believe they already are there. I don't think they're on the cusp of it. I think it's happening now. Rockets and missiles are flying back and forth, and it looks like Israel is preparing for a ground invasion of Lebanon, just as they did in Gaza. Israel and Hezbollah have been at war for almost a year. Hezbollah began firing rockets into Israel, to northern Israel, on October 8th, the day after the bloody, horrible Hamas invasion of Israel. But what's happening over there is entering a dramatic, destructive new phase. And I want to talk about that today and just look at what's happening there. Look at it kind of through a geopolitical lens. But then I want to put on our prophetic lens and look at what's happening there through the lens of Bible prophecy. Now, before we get into today's content, I want to preview the subscriber-only section that we'll pivot to here in a few minutes. In this week's subscriber-only section, I want to continue our exposition of the book of Revelation. Started this several weeks ago. We're just making our way through the book of Revelation. And today we'll get into Revelation chapter 2 and begin chapters 2 and 3 that are the letters that Jesus wrote to these 7 churches. And today we're going to look at the letter that Jesus wrote to the church at Ephesus, the church that lost its first love. Now we're going to look at some of the very practical application for us individually and for the churches that we attend from that letter from Jesus. So we'll pivot to that here in just a few minutes. The world, though, right now is holding its collective breath, waiting to see what happens next in the Middle East. The war in Gaza has kind of faded into the background as Israel and Hezbollah are bracing for what looks like a final showdown. So we've been talking a lot here at endtimes.com about this northern front, this northern war that would begin, and we're seeing it take place now. Now, I think this is a precursor to the ultimate final northern war that Israel will face, which is the Gog-Magog invasion of Ezekiel 38 and 39. I've been doing a lot of reading online, and I ran across an article by NBC News and just kind of some bullet points, and it was talking about this conflict that's ongoing, and it says, here's what we know. So I just want to share these and add a few thoughts to each one of these. The first one is, it says the Israeli military is calling up 2 reserve brigades to the northern border for operational activities as the United States and others urge against an expansion of its conflict with Hezbollah. Israel's hostilities with Hezbollah, according to leaders there, have entered a new phase. The Israeli military's lead officer of the Northern Command has warned that the troops to be fully prepared for maneuvers and actions. So the big question really over there right now is what's next? When will Israel unleash a ground invasion into southern Lebanon? A ground invasion, I believe, and certainly the leaders over there are saying is inevitable. There can't be a victory without it. And thousands of Israeli troops have been deployed on the border for this upcoming ground invasion of Lebanon. So that's the first thing we know. The second thing, the Israeli military launched a new wave of extensive strikes in southern Lebanon where more than 90,000 people have been displaced by an intensified aerial campaign by Israel. It's killed almost 600 people as of today. So Israel's launching extensive aerial strikes into southern Lebanon, probably to soften everything up for this ground invasion. Number 3, Israel said it has intercepted a ballistic missile fired from Lebanon toward Tel Aviv. Now, this is a game-changing escalation because this is the first time that Hezbollah has targeted the country's economic center. There in Tel Aviv. And Hezbollah has said that it was targeting the spy agency Mossad's headquarters. The Israeli spy agency Mossad, they were targeting their headquarters. Now, we know why they were doing that because Mossad is the one who's behind these pager and radio explosions and all of that. So this was a direct retaliation against Mossad. And this ballistic missile that was fired, that was thankfully intercepted, had a 1,500-pound warhead it was carrying. So this is a game-changing escalation by Hezbollah. Number 4, an Israeli airstrike in Beirut killed a senior Hezbollah commander. He's the latest member of the Iranian-backed group's top brass to be killed in recent weeks. The senior Hezbollah commander is Ibrahim Kubaisi. He headed the group's missile and rocket force. So, Israel is just systematically taking out one Hezbollah leader after another. And the head of all of this, Nasrallah, he may be next. Really almost all of his senior command have been eliminated. And then number 5, the UN Security Council is expected to meet tonight, that's September 25th when this came out, as global leaders fear a broader regional war. So the UN Security Council is meeting in light of what's happening, and U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken has urged the two sides to reach a diplomatic agreement. Well, I don't think that's going to happen probably anytime very soon. So those are kind of those 5 points of what we know. Now, here's another article that I ran across from Axios. Now, this would be an exponential accelerant to all of this. Axios says in their article that the headline is, Hezbollah has asked Iran to attack Israel. Now, this would be, again, this major accelerant, throwing gas on the fire. In the article, it says 2 Israeli officials said Iranian officials told their Hezbollah counterparts that the timing isn't right for launching an attack against Israel. Now, we don't know why the timing isn't right. I wonder if Iran is waiting for what we know of as the Gog-Magog coalition to come together. They're waiting to get a whole coalition of nations together with them before they come against Israel. But they're saying the timing is not right. Now, with all that we see happening, we have to remember, and I know this is difficult to imagine right now, but there's going to be peace in the Middle East. There's a coming peace that's going to be brokered by the coming Antichrist. There's an article I saw this week in Reuters that really grabbed my attention. It says, amid Israel-Hezbollah strikes, Lebanon says only U.S. can stop the fighting. So when it comes to the Middle East and the ongoing peace process that's been going now for decades, notice that the parties always look to outside forces to broker the peace. They're always looking for someone from the outside to come in and help them. Again, what's the headline say? Lebanon says only the U.S. can stop the fighting. So there's always a third party that they look to for peace negotiations. And that's exactly what the Bible predicts. The Bible says that the Antichrist, who will rise someday out of a reunited or revived Roman Empire, will forge the peace agreement that begins the 7-year tribulation. So someday, it will only be the Antichrist who can stop the fighting. So the world will look to him for the solution, just like it's looking today to the United States for the solution. Because I think the United States, after the rapture, will be greatly reduced in our impact in the world. They'll have to look somewhere else. And they'll look to the Antichrist. And what we see today is paving the way for his rise to power as the great peacemaker. Now, as I said when I began the program, I want to shift gears for our remaining time and talk about a breaking news story out of China. China is flexing its military muscle right now big time. Fox News, this just happened as I'm making this video. China launches intercontinental ballistic missile into Pacific hours after Biden's UN address. So think about the timing of that. Just a few hours after President Biden's UN address, they launched this intercontinental ballistic missile into the Pacific. The BBC headline says, China holds rare test of long-range missile into sea. This is believed to be the first time since 1980 that China has launched an international continental ballistic missile into international waters. It traveled 7,400 miles. People are saying that this launch is a powerful signal and intended to intimidate everyone. China currently has about 500 active nuclear weapons. They're expected to have more than 1,000 by 2030 and a stockpile of 1,500 by 2035. This is happening while China is threatening Taiwan. It's intimidating the Philippines and Japan. And ironically, all of this is happening while world leaders are gathering in New York for the United Nations General Assembly and the United Nations Summit of the Future. So the United Nations is meeting. All of this is happening at the same time. The UN Secretary General, Antonio Guterres, spoke on Sunday at the UN General Assembly, and he said this: conflicts are raging and multiplying from the Middle East to Ukraine and Sudan with no end in sight. I mean, there are hot spots all over the world today. Now, we know that Israel is ground zero prophetically in the scriptures. Really, even now, just geopolitically, that's ground zero, this conflict in the Middle East. But there are 110 armed conflicts in the world today. And all of this is a major sign. What did Jesus say in Matthew 24, verse 6 and 7? You will hear of wars and rumors of wars, but see to it that you are not alarmed. Such things must happen, but the end is still to come. Nation will rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom. And think about all the hot wars we have right now. Russia, Ukraine, a European war. The Middle East war, again, with Israel versus Hezbollah, which will escalate and intensify dramatically if Iran gets involved. We have China's threat against Taiwan and against Japan and really against all of the West. We have these rumors of wars all over the world. The world today is like a powder keg. It's like a pressure cooker on a stove. How much longer will it be until the fuse is lit, until the lid blows off? How do we respond to all of this? Listen again to what Jesus said. You will hear of wars and rumors of wars. See to it you're not alarmed. See to it you're not afraid. Such things must happen, but the end is still to come. And they are happening. They're happening today right before our eyes. Winston Churchill, back in World War II, said this: now, this is not the end. It's not even the beginning of the end, but it is perhaps the end of the beginning. And I like that quote, and I think it applies to our world today. It applies to what we see happening prophetically. What we're witnessing right now is not the end. It's not even the beginning of the end, but it's the end of the beginning to set things up for what's coming. And what we're waiting for is the coming of Jesus to deliver us from the wrath to come. That will be the beginning of the end. What I say to that is, even so, I come, Lord Jesus. We're going to go now to the subscriber-only section, where today we're going to continue our study, just kind of our just systematic study through the book of Revelation. We'll come to Revelation chapter 2 today. We'll look at that letter that Jesus wrote to the church at Ephesus. Has great application for our lives today. If you're not a subscriber at endtimes.com and you'd like to be, you can go to endtimes.com and you can get the information there about how to be a subscriber.